Welcome to episode 4 of A to Z. I'm AJ, back with Conlan and Zach. How are we today, guys?
Doing pretty good. How are you, AJ?
I'm doing good. Conlan, you
Yeah,
feeling better?
yeah, I'm feeling better. Yeah, last week I did myself dirty with this podcast. I was feeling pretty good, and like halfway through, I just like really needed to blow my nose, and I muted myself on Zoom, which you guys know, and then I just didn't even think about like us using Audacity to record all this. So obviously, like halfway through, I'm listening to the final like edit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is so brutal. But yeah, I'm feeling better, so we're good to go.
Well,
Earlier this week,
you got it.
earlier this week, something happened to me this week. I was like lifting weights, squatting, trying to get big, get back into it.
Mhm.
And I get home after that, and my back is like hurting so bad. So then the next day I'm in class, and I'm in class from 11, or I got to campus like 10:30. It was there to 4:45. I have a late class, and my back was killing me. I got home. I was like dead. I had a headache from it. I literally laid on the floor and laid in my bed the rest of the night. I was miserable.
Dude,
Oh, geez.
getting old.
I am.
So we had our interhall basketball game
I was
last
literally
night,
just about to tell you to talk about that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I told you guys about that, but we got hammered. We got beat by like 25, and so before the game, I like my back's really been bothering me, and from squatting as well, and so I took like it's not like icy hot, but it's like a pain reliever. And I literally just had to put that like all over my back to play an interhall basketball game. And I know I texted you guys
Nice.
afterwards. I'm like, I'm literally like a 44-year-old, like just coach out there trying to move, play like at a scrimmage. So,
Well,
but
when I
yeah,
first hurt my
hopefully
back, it was playing grass volleyball intramural, so it's just as like the same.
it's insane like how quickly you lose your athleticism.
Like I think about in soccer, me and Conlon, we had to run a 6-minute mile. And now when I try to run a mile, I am getting like 9 minutes a mile. I lost 3 minutes a mile.
I actually am curious what I could run a mile in. Because yeah, like my high school, my like best time was like 5:40 or something. And now I would be lucky to do it in probably like 7.
You say 540?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. I used to actually be in shape and run.
We would go to the treadmill and set the treadmill miles per hour to what you had to run to get a 6-minute mile. And we just
Mhm.
do that like every day.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing that comment at the competitive edge?
Yeah.
We would just set it to that and try to run a mile on like 12 miles per hour, whatever it was.
I think that was my sophomore year too, because after I ran that, the following spring I broke my ankle. So I was in really bad shape coming into like training camp or whatever you want to call it for soccer. And then the next year I had like my knee problems. So I was really out of shape then.
A lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot of problems.
It's only going to go downhill from here, too.
Oh,
I think
I
it's
know
bad now. It's just going to
it's
get
gonna
worse
be
and worse.
bad. So we're gonna shout out one of our listeners from last week. He sent me a DM that goes, Titans by a million today on God. I hear one of your dumbasses pick them Bengals on that podcast. I'm gonna throw a fit. Well, we all picked the Titans, but we said it would be a close game, I think. And yeah, the Bengals ended up winning that game. So
You want to start there?
shout out to our boy. I don't know if
Yeah,
we
we
should
can
call
start
him
there.
out.
Bengals, Titans.
Yeah,
Because it was probably the best weekend of football I've ever seen.
I
every single game was a like
Down a field
all-time
goal.
game.
Every game was close, but I didn't like the outcomes of probably all of them.
Yeah, I hated every single one. The outcomes of
Same.
it. Yep.
I hate the
Yeah.
Final Four.
That I guess we can start Bengals Titans. Threw a blank there.
For sure.
I think it shocked I think it shocked all of us. So I think we all expected Derrick Henry to kind of come back and kind of be his old self, even though he missed so much time, but it just wasn't the case.
Well, it's kind of hard to expect a guy to come back into his full force after he had broke his foot and they put a metal plate in his foot. He's like a robo foot guy now.
Yeah.
But
I think I expected him just to be Superman and come back
yeah,
and go crazy, but it makes sense. I mean, it's going to take time to kind of get a feel back, but
Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill, though,
I was gonna say that too. I mean, he basically just was worthless. And when you have no passing game, it's a lot more difficult for Henry coming back like off an injury too, when he's got to
Yeah.
carry so much of the workload.
yep.
I was
thought,
at a Clemson basketball game and I was keeping up with it on my phone. And at the end of the game, the Titans had the ball and they were driving. And I was like, oh, the Titans are going to get a field goal and win. And then I look at it again and it's Cincinnati gets the ball. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
no, I thought that was going to be like that was whenever we made our Super Bowl predictions. I predicted Brady and the Bucks against Tannehill and the Titans, and I thought it was going to come down to quarterback play, and I thought Brady was going to outplay him, but Burrow outplayed him way earlier than I thought it was going to be. I thought Tannehill would kind of keep him in it, but if you're the Titans, where do you go now? You know, you've kind of been put in this spot a couple of years in a row where you kind of have high expectations. You get a top seed, and then so what do you guys think with Tannehill? Is he the guy, or do you try to look elsewhere? I don't know where else you'd look, but
Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
it's talk.
That's
There's
possible.
yeah. But what do you? Yeah,
I think Tannehill's kind of like Alex Smith in a way, where in the regular season they're really, really good. And in the postseason, it's like they're a different person a little bit.
Mhm. I can see it. I like that comparison. But I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm afraid for the Bengals with the Chiefs coming up, and even though all three of us agree for our strong disliking of the Chiefs,
Very strong.
that game was incredible. That Bills Chiefs game. It was just back and forth, and at the end with 13 seconds, I thought, yeah, we got it now, we got them, and then they find a way. It's unreal.
Yeah, that was devastating to watch.
Yes. Painful.
Very painful.
All the only thing I have to say about that game is I feel like this every time I watch, especially the Chiefs in the postseason, is Tyreek Hill is probably one of the most athletic people I've ever seen, because a lot of people are saying, like, I know Mahomes gets a lot of credit. He got him in field goal position with 13 seconds, but like, holy cow, you give it to Tyreek Hill and he's like a little joystick on there and he can get it anywhere and you may not tackle him. It's crazy.
I mean, he's crazy, but even Pringle and the running back that's been going off, what is it, McKinnon or something like that?
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, they're kind of the same. And there's one Hardman. They're all kind of the same play style.
They're all just fast.
Yeah, they just blow by everybody.
They have the same philosophy as I have in Madden. Draft the fastest wide receivers and just do drag routes and crossing routes, and they outrun everyone.
Blow by everybody.
Yeah.
No, and then your other option is Travis Kelce, so that's not too shabby as well. So, yeah, Mahomes is an all-time great quarterback, and he will be by the end of his career. But I mean, we got to look at the weapons that he's got working with.
And he's also the Chiefs, of course, have their like fan base. Like a lot of people that lost the Rams from St. Louis now root for the Chiefs, but every single other fan in the country absolutely hates them and absolutely despises them. And I think most of that doesn't even stem from like the team. It stems from Jackson Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' little brother, and his
Brittany.
and
Lord.
yeah.
I think I would like
my
Patrick Mahomes if he
gosh.
was on any other team and didn't
Yeah.
have his brother or his fiance, correct? They're not married yet.
I think they're married now.
They are married
Are
now?
they?
Yeah, I think so. She's just getting worse and worse, though. I'm sure you guys all saw the pouring champagne on everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Now
it's
so
fine to
bad.
celebrate. Like, so you won a big, like one of the greatest games of all time, but it was the divisional round.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I sadly, if you guys want to do some predictions, I'll probably pick the Chiefs against the Bengals, even though I'll be cheering for the Bengals with everything I got.
Yep, same. I think Chiefs are too good.
I
I
agree.
think the Bengals have gotten slightly lucky as well. I don't think it's really sustainable.
Like Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times against the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a recipe for success.
Zach, are you picking Chiefs then?
Yeah, I think they're gonna win. I dislike both teams, but I'm gonna be rooting for T. Higgins on the Bengals to have a really good game because I don't like Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to need. I'm afraid if they get into a shootout, though, it's just, I don't think they're going to win that way.
But the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the second to last game of the regular season.
That's true.
Was that I don't remember. Was that a shootout? Or was
Yeah,
it lower scoring? Was it? And
it
I
was
think
like
the thing-
38,
They came back from like
35.
11
Oh.
down, right?
Yeah,
Yes, I remember that
Jamar
now.
Chase
It was in Cincinnati.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when he set
But-
the rookie reception yard single game rookie reception
Yeah, he
yards
had like
record. Right?
250
Yeah.
I
or
forgot about
something.
that. Yeah. But even back on the Chiefs, that knocked out. We saw first weekend Zach's Cowboy pick for the Super Bowl was eliminated, and then this week the Bills were eliminated, and then moving on to the NFC side, my Buccaneers pick was eliminated. So we did a pretty terrible job.
We are very smart.
So my picks the first week I was 6 for 6. Last week I was 0 for 4. So
Oh my god.
good thing I didn't
mean-
start gambling last week.
We should have probably saw this coming to an extent, though, with how wide open it was this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew something wasn't gonna. I mean, something was gonna go against what we picked, and but the Niners, honestly, they shocked me. I think the first round against the Cowboys, it shocked me because I thought the Cowboys were gonna win that game.
Yeah,
but
it really didn't
then
shock me.
Yeah,
they
same here.
really shocked me this week. I thought Aaron was. I mean, they held Aaron Rodgers at 10 points. I know it was crazy conditions, but
If you think about it, it's their same roster from when they made it all the way to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And I know everyone's saying Jimmy Garoppolo is not an amazing quarterback. Like he's not like an elite. He's solid, but his win percentage is pretty dang good.
I was about to get to that. That I don't. I'm worried for them, and I actually have a friend at school that's a huge Niners fan, and he's been giving me trouble about it all year. That they're going to get hot, and if I don't, I'm just worried about the quarterback play. Will Jimmy's, how I mentioned with the Tom Brady Tannehill thing in my prediction, will quarterback play like is Jimmy Garoppolo a Super Bowl quarterback? Like I don't know if I'm putting
He
too
has
much.
more playoff wins than Matt Stafford.
That's true. I
All
don't know
Stafford's
if I'm
wins
putting,
are this year.
I don't know if I'm putting so much or too much emphasis on quarterback play rather than just all around team play. Like, is it really that big of a deal? I mean, if Jimmy takes care of the ball, and I don't know.
I just don't think the defense can play that well, like the next 2 games. So I think quarterback play is gonna be more important than it has been.
Do you guys have the Rams this week or the Niners?
I'm going Niners because I don't like the Rams because I don't like Stan Kroenke for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I think the Rams will win the game, but I hope the Niners win.
I think
Which is
I
Go ahead.
think I agree with you. Where I think I'm cheering for Stafford, not so much the Rams. I've always kind of respected Stafford, so I'm
I do
cheering
like
for him to
Stafford.
do well. Yeah, I'm cheering for the Niners as the team to win, but I do think the Rams will win that game. Being in LA too, it helps. Even
Oh,
But
though
I don't know. They're saying that 49ers are gonna pack the
I
stands.
was about to say that, yeah, 49ers fans go nuts.
And the biggest thing, I think the 49ers have beat the Rams. They beat them both times in the regular season. It is so difficult to beat a team 3 times in the same year. I think the Rams are going to make the adjustments and they're going to win that game.
We mentioned that I think in one of the earlier episodes about I think it was a football team, but I don't remember what team it was. Where that was my argument is that it's so hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, and I don't know if you guys remember either, but I remember mentioning that.
It might have
But
been a college game.
It might have been. Oh yeah, it was Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, but my worst fear is Chiefs Rams in the Super Bowl. I don't know if I can watch it.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough to watch that and sit through that. It'd be painful.
I'm gonna be watching for the halftime show and the commercials.
Yeah.
Who is the halftime show this year? I think it's like Dr. Dre and a bunch of like old heads, isn't
It's
it?
Yeah.
Dr. Dre,
Eminem,
Mary
Kendrick
J.
Lamar.
Blige, Snoop Dogg.
That might be all.
It
I
may be
wanna-
good.
I want to get back to the Bills and Chiefs real quick because the big thing with that was the overtime.
Yeah.
I don't know, even discussion, I guess, controversy afterwards. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about just should they change the rules? Should they keep it? Should they go to like a college rule? Should they just keep playing? I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I think there's not even much controversy, I don't think, anymore. It just needs to change. It doesn't make sense to only allow essentially half the team half of each team to decide the outcome of the game. I mean, it's fine in the regular season because regular season games aren't as important. But when you have games like this, like one of the best football games of all time, and it ends like Josh Allen didn't even get a chance after the Chiefs tied the game with no time left. Ball just went right back to Mahomes and won the game. And Josh Allen, who had a near perfect game, doesn't even touch the ball again. So I think it has to change. And I guess, Zach, go ahead and give your thoughts. And then
No, I
we have a
agree for
quote
sure.
from
I
Andy
think it
Reid.
needs to change as well. Same as with Conlan. A game is literally basically decided by a coin flip, not the actual play of the game. But I think they should change it to just play kind of like college overtime or NBA, where you play another quarter, but it's a little shortened. Maybe play like a 10-minute quarter, or you can even do the whole quarter. Doesn't really matter. And just play it all out. And if it's tied, keep going.
You want to share that quote before I show my opinion?
Yeah, so Andy Reid basically said, and I think was this last year when they lost in overtime to the Patriots, I think.
It was
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Two.
And the Chiefs like petitioned for a rule change, right?
Yeah.
And so after this game, Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, talked to Sean McDermott, head coach of the Bills, and basically just said, I had a chance to talk with Sean afterwards. I'm sure that it's something the league will look at again. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to it. It's a hard thing. It was great for us last night, but is it great for the game, which is the most important thing we should all be looking out for? To make things equal, it probably needs to be able to hit both offenses, both defenses. And I think that makes sense. Like I said, it's right now the game's being decided by half of each team if the game does go to overtime, which does not make sense.
I really like what Zach was saying about shortening the overtime to like 10 minutes and just playing it out. I don't like ties in any sport. I don't like sitting there watching. I'm sure they don't like playing there for 3 hours and then just having a tie out of it. I know the health comes into question when you want to talk about, let's say they tie it after one overtime, then they go to another, and just the endurance maybe plays a factor. But I do like, besides soccer, you don't see the ties really. I mean, you don't. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Even in hockey, you get a point if you go to overtime, but a team comes out of there with 2 points in a win. I'd like to see moving maybe 15 to 10 minutes, and like NBA does with 12 down to 5, and just play it out. So we would have a win no matter what.
I think what they could do is do 10 minutes at the end of that time. If it's still tied, you go either like college rules and just start at say the 20, 25 and play it out from there. Each team gets a possession. And then at that time, you have to go for 2. Like if you score in the like second overtime. So you start at the 25, you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2.
That's what college does now. Or after like a couple, then they just go to exchanging 2-point conversions.
I think it's the third overtime, which I actually don't like that.
No, I don't either. Because Illinois and Illinois and someone else. Who?
Penn State.
I think
Yeah, they went
State,
to like 8 overtimes because their offenses were so bad.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. No, I like that idea, Conlan. I like after one overtime, if you don't want to play another 10 minutes full, then just do the college style. But I don't know if we have anything else to talk about NFL wise.
Ooh,
Anything else
what
to touch
about
on?
what are your guys' thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he'll be a Packer or not? Be a Packer, change teams, or retire?
I don't think he retires, and I don't think he's a Packer. I don't know where he'd go though, and I don't know. Is he a free agent?
Yes. They
Okay.
changed his contract to where he's a free agent after this year, I believe.
So I was going to mention it. I don't know what assets and pieces they would want. Like they would be a lot for him, but now that he's a free agent, that takes.
I'm
its
pretty
own.
sure, not positive. I
I
know
thought he-
Devontae
I thought he
Adams is a
wasn't.
free agent.
People keep saying the Broncos. That's like the one.
It's after next season, Zach. I think.
Okay.
I think he'll go somewhere else. I don't know trade wise how that would even work. But I could see him. I like to see a player in other jerseys. You know how they do those edits.
Yeah.
And what he
Yeah.
would look best in. He kind of looks clean in a Broncos jersey. I kind of like that.
And then another thing I wanted to touch on just real briefly was Urban Meyer when he basically said that his coaching experience with the Jags was the worst experience of his coaching career.
I read the article, and he basically, from what I read, to me, it basically seemed like he went in there trying to coach like he was in college because he's like, I didn't know how to manage my time because most of the time is recruiting. He was all these basically excuses. He just was unprepared for the job
Right. He just had no idea what to do.
I
and
saw a
basically just
stat of-
ruined a year of Trevor Lawrence's development too.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a stat of like he's the most. How do you say this? The record wise, the most winning coach in college, and in NFL, like the worst record, like percentage wise, in NFL history. It's like complete opposites. I thought it was kind of unique.
It's funny.
But yeah, I guess we can move on NBA wise.
Do one of you guys want to do one of your segments now? Split it up here.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Zach, you
wanna
want to
go?
do yours?
Do mine? Okay. Trivia.
Zach's was the best one last time. That's the one that got the
It's-
most praise from everybody. So
I don't think this one's gonna be nearly as well. I just came
Oh,
up with
boy.
this like 30 minutes ago. So I came up with 5 trivia questions. 2 are sports, 3 are not. So the first one is St. Louis Cardinals trivia. Let's see if you guys know your St. Louis Cardinals baseball. All right.
Okay.
Question 1. And you must like answer like Jeopardy. What is
All right.
whoever? So first question. Which St. Louis Cardinals player had the same amount of hits at home and on the road for his career?
can we get like hints?
I was gonna say that's really
That's
tough.
Okay, he's a
That
Hall of
is-
Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
okay.
You're Googling it, aren't you, right now, Colin?
No.
Uh-huh. You have a guess?
Man.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
do.
go.
Did you just look it up?
No, I wrote it down. I have my Jeopardy card here. Oh, you can't even
Take it.
see it.
Conlan, you got it. You go first.
I have who is Stan Musial.
Correct.
Really?
He had the exact same amount of hits at home and on the road. And he had, I did the math. I wrote it down. No, I did not write it down. Put it in my calculator. Whatever his hits were, I just divided it by 2. 1,815 hits at home and on the road.
Wow.
And he had a total of 3,630 hits.
Wow.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. I heard that stat a couple years ago, and I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so next one. This is kind of fun. You guys will never guess this answer, but it's kind of fun. Who had the most RBIs in a single season?
For the Cardinals or just MLB?
No, all time. All
I
time.
have a guess, and I honestly don't think this is right because I think it's probably an older player. But I'm gonna go. Who is Manny Ramirez?
Nope.
Because he had like
It's-
160
I'll give you the
that
year
1 year.
it happened in.
Okay.
Sure.
1930.
Oh Lord.
What?
It's funny because I believe the person who had the second most RBIs it was happening that same season.
I don't
All right,
even
I'll just
have.
give you the answer.
It's got to be a Yankee, right?
No,
That's
it's actually a Cub, which makes it kind of worse when I was looking it up.
oh boy, I got nothing.
It is. He has a great name, Hack Wilson.
Hack
He had
Wilson.
191 RBIs.
Oh my god.
He batted
Pretty
356, 56 home runs, 191 RBIs. Wasn't even an MVP or anything. Wasn't even on the list on Baseball Reference.
How many homers?
56.
56 homers?
Yes.
That's wild.
And you know who the same year Lou Gehrig had 185 RBIs.
That was the only name I could think of. But
Yeah, I was.
once,
That's who I thought it was, and then I looked it up and it was Hack Wilson,
but when
which is a sweet name.
I would have like, I was thinking Luke Gehrig, but you're like, you'll never get this. So I was like, all right, it's definitely not him.
He's number
so.
Lou Gehrig's number 2.
Hmm.
All right, here's my. This is a geography question. Number 3. Which U.S. states, which U.S. states are the most western, most southern, most eastern, and most northern? So which U.S. state's the most north? Which state's the most west? Which one's the most south? Which one's the most east? I think Conlan may know. Conlan, do you know this one?
Is West Washington?
It's Alaska.
It's not
Really?
Washington.
Is it Alaska?
It is Alaska for western.
That it's also northern, right?
Yes.
Conlan, I'm gonna stay out of this one. Conlan,
So I have northwest. So I need east.
And south.
East is either Maine or Florida.
Mm-mm.
No?
Neither.
Wow. Trying to. What would it be?
It's kind of a trick
Wait,
question.
where's Hawaii at? Is it Hawaii? I
For
have no.
eastern,
I have no idea where Hawaii is.
it's off the coast of.
Is
It's
Haw-
not eastern. It's not eastern.
It's the southern one though.
Yeah, it's southern.
Is Hawaii west or like east of Florida?
West of California. It's in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Do you want me to give you the
geography skills.
eastern?
No, I don't. Do you have any guesses, AJ?
What did you already guess? You guessed
It's not Maine or Florida.
not Maine or Florida.
Is it
Is that like a in the middle, a Carolina or a?
Nope. I'll give you a hint. There's a certain line that's in the Pacific Ocean that determines the date. International date line.
is that supposed to help?
Yeah, Alaska goes over that, so it's technically the most eastern state.
Okay. All right.
Wait, what's southern?
Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
So it's just
Wait,
Alaska and Hawaii are all the
So
answers.
what's
Oh,
the like
God.
continental? Like, what's the furthest east? Is it Florida or Maine?
It's Alaska. I think Maine is.
Maine is okay.
I think so. All right, my next one. What is the most consumed food in the world?
Rice.
Ooh, you're correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, right on, man.
All right, then my next one is what is the most consumed food in the U.S.?
This is a separate question. This is
Yeah.
like your last one
Yeah, it's my last one.
in the U.S.
Beer.
No.
Is it?
Maybe most consumed liquid. It is kind of just wheat water.
I don't know.
What is McDonald's famous for?
Is it
Fries.
Hamburgers.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what on most of them said. It really just had a lot of popular ones. This was like whatever popped up first on my Google. So it may
Nice.
not be super reliable, but yeah, those are my trivia questions.
The burger one actually surprised me. I was thinking of something that like came in bulk. That's why I thought rice and we're like really cheap and you just easy. Burger kind of surprises me.
Yeah, it's really global too. Rice, like
Oh,
everywhere eats rice.
Yeah. Well, good job, Zach.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we did. We actually did pretty good, AJ.
How's that geography? Goodness.
I love geography.
But I guess we can move on NBA wise here. Couple things that happened this week, or really the main thing was the All-Star selections that happened last night. But before we get into that, I wanted to mention a couple teams that stand out to me. And the one that stood out the most were the Cavaliers this week. Cavaliers really all season. They're kind of shocking everybody. But they were 8-1 this week. Or not this week. They were 8-1 their last 9 games. And they also in that stretch have wins against the Buccaneers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Utah Jazz, and the Brooklyn Nets. So Cavs are a team. I think they're sitting in the top 4 still. They're a team to kind of watch out for. They're young and scrappy, and kind of leads me into the next point of in the East. I think I mentioned it last week. The top 7 teams are all still within 4.5 games apart. So
It's crazy.
anybody can come out of there. But did any games stand out this week to you guys, or any teams or anything?
I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch any NBA games. But going on the Cavs, I really like the Cavs because they're kind of going a little old school. They're playing a lot of big men because they got Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, right?
Jared Allen and Laurie Markkinen, yeah.
Yeah, all big guys. They keep them in, a lot of them all in at the same time.
They've
And then you have,
been starting all 3.
yeah,
So it's like
I
3
like it.
7-footers. Yeah, it's kind of.
And then you have Darius Garland creating for everyone. It's kind of fun.
Defensively, they can stop just about anybody. I mean, they're long enough. You can't get in the lane. And Darius Garland,
You
if
have
he's
2
not an
rim
all-star-
protectors.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. No, Mobley's been a real breakout player this year. I'm trying to think who they started at the 2. I want to say Isaac Okoro, maybe.
Yeah, he's like a defensive. He
Yeah.
played at Auburn, I believe.
I don't know what their defense like standings are or rankings, but they got to be high.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was the one team that stood up to me. Whenever I was doing research, I saw that and I was pretty impressed. But what do you guys think about the All-Star selections? Let's start with East.
Name them off again. I want to make sure I remember them all
I'm going off
correctly.
the top of my head. Trae Young,
Yeah,
DeMar DeRozan.
DeRozan's in there.
Yeah, and then KD, Giannis, and Embiid.
Yeah. Wait, is that
I
all
don't
of
know.
them?
That's 5, yeah.
Okay, yeah. They consider
so I'm
DeRozan a shooting guard now.
Yeah, I know. He was like a power forward in San Antonio. But I
Okay,
like
so
I like
weird.
the East. I don't have a problem with the East though. I
I
think they
East.
got
I
it right.
think those are all the most deserving players. They've been playing really great all year. DeRozan's been the biggest surprise. He's in his 30s now, correct? And
Yep.
got his first All-Star, so that's pretty cool. First All-Star start, not his first overall All-Star selection.
Well, I think the one, if you could make any kind of argument for anybody else, it'd be Zach LaVine. He's been pretty incredible in
Yeah.
Chicago. And I want to shout out Fred VanVleet. Even though he shouldn't be a starter, he's going to be a first-time All-Star, and that's pretty cool. He's been carrying the Raptors this year.
And
But-
shout out Jason Tatum because he dropped 50 points, I think, this week.
Yeah, he went off the other night.
Right.
I have to mention
Louis.
really quick, now that you brought up Tatum, I saw a post of Drew Hanlon, the trainer, and he posted something. He was at Thomas Jefferson High School, which is a high school that we played all the time, which I thought was kind of cool. But he was there
pure
during, yeah. I
He-
think he was there during Tatum's 50-point game, or maybe the game after.
Oh,
I
really?
saw him post
Because
something about
Beal
it.
and Tatum both do work with him and do pure sweat. So
I think Embiid does also.
yeah, a
He's
lot
got
of them.
and
Levine does. A lot of
Clarkson,
people
yeah.
do. So he's probably traveled to St. Louis to work out with them.
Yeah, I didn't know till probably a couple months ago that he's from St. Louis. Like he grew up here.
Drew Hanlon is.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Did
didn't
you
know that.
Yeah,
I
isn't
did
that
not.
crazy?
That's probably why they have a bunch of.
Yeah.
I did pure sweat too.
Did you?
Not with Drew Hanlon.
But the West is where I kind of had a problem. And there's one guy out of the 5 that kind of stands out.
I know
No.
LeBron.
Not deserving at all. But Andrew Wiggins, man. I mean, what are we thinking?
I was shocked.
I didn't think there was any chance at all. And I can name 3 guys right now that are more deserved. Paul George, even though he's been injured, he deserves it. Carl Anthony
you can
Towns.
just say that just hearing their name, you're like, he's way better.
Oh, yeah, I know. Carl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert are 3 guys that just. And if you want to talk guard wise, you have Curry and Ja Morant. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah,
Devin
Ja
Booker's
Morant
been playing
deserves it.
unreal, but I know a lot of people are saying like how does the best team in the West, the Suns, not have a player in the starting 5 for the All-Star game? But I don't have a problem with it. I would
No,
take
I don't either.
Ja and Steph over Chris Paul and Devin Booker for this.
They're both
year.
better.
Yeah. And then we got to finish it off. We got LeBron, my guy, and Jokic, your guy, Zach. So
Yeah.
So I don't remember how they do it. Do they those 5 play together and the other 5 play together and then they pick
They
the
do a
reserves?
draft.
Or is everybody mixed in?
Katie and LeBron are the captains, and then they pick.
So they pick the starters and the
Yes.
bench? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like. I get why they have the starting 5 as a fan vote, but it makes the All-Star games not as legit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there should be. I know the reserves are voted by like coaches and players, I think, but I kind of like it if it's just all voted by coaches and players.
I think it was 2 years ago was that really good All-Star game that came down to the end and people were playing really tight defense. And
yeah, it's when they started that new rule.
Yeah. I think it was the Kobe thing.
Yeah, it was the year Kobe passed away.
Yeah. Actually,
they've been doing that from now on though. The target score at the end of the game.
Did they not have one last year because of COVID?
They did, I think.
Did they? I can't picture it in my head. But mentioning Kobe, that obviously 2 years ago to what, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
2-year anniversary of his passing. So yeah, that was pretty much it that stood out to me NBA wise. All the notes I brought in. Anything else you guys want to mention? It's really just middle of the season, kind of just basic stuff going on. Conlan, anything?
You guys killed it, yeah.
Conlan, do you have another segment, or is that something you want to do later?
I had just a random question for you guys, and I also had some movies, TV shows I watched this past week. I had COVID, so yeah, I'll just start with the movies, TV shows. So I finished up Vikings. It's on Hulu, other platforms, and it's a TV show. It's got like 6 seasons. It is so good. It's like a portrayal of Vikings, but
Vikings.
like yeah, of course. So like Scandinavia, way back in the day, and a lot of, I guess, Norse mythology. So it's pretty cool. They do a really good job like with the supernatural and all those kind of aspects of it. And lots of action, tons of action. So fight scenes, things like that. But it's also got a really good storyline. And at the beginning, there's really, really good cast and characters, good actors, and just like it seems very realistic. They just hit it on the head. So I would definitely recommend that. Do you guys have any
like TV shows?
Yeah, that you've been watching that are like good?
Yeah, I started watching Money Heist like a week ago. It's like 15 episodes for the first season. I flew through them. It's this like guy they call the professor, and he recruits a team, and they are robbing the Royal Mint in Spain. It's a Spanish show, so it's dubbed. So like their mouths are moving in like Spanish, but they have voiceovers people in English. So don't look at their lips when you watch it, because it's kind of hard sometimes. But it's crazy. He planned out this thing so crazy. It's just like so intense at all times. I finished the first season like last week, and I just needed to take a break because it just gets me like so stressed out watching it because it's like so intense. I'm like, I'm gonna have to like take a little sabbatical until I watch the next season. And there's 5 seasons. I think they just came out with the 5th one a little bit ago, but it's pretty cool. It's like the police are do one thing, and then the professor, the leader, he like expected that to happen or wanted them to do something. It's crazy. It's really good. Highly recommend.
I'm not really into TV shows. I did watch a movie this week with Hannah called Red Notice. Has The Rock and Ryan Reynolds in it. I don't know if you guys
How
heard of
is
it.
that? Is that like really funny?
It's pretty funny. It's corny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And then a movie I watched, I guess, over Christmas break, and then I kind of rewatched it last week, is The Nice Guys. So it's got Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and they are both so good in that movie, like just brilliant. And it's like it's funny, it's like drama, action. So basically, Ryan Gosling is a private investigator, and Russell Crowe is like basically intimidator or like an enforcer. So he just like beats up people for money. And so basically they like are partners investigating this like disappearance of this young girl. And yeah, it's got like kind of twists and turns in it, and it's a little difficult to follow, but it's a really, really good movie. So I would definitely recommend that. And then yeah, well, I try to watch The Babadook, like a horror movie, and I was really disappointed. It was not scary at all. I would not recommend that.
I can't do horror movies.
This one you
Really?
could do. It was
Get too
not
scared.
not scary. So I did
Feel like
the
I'm gonna
next
get
day
shot.
though. The next day though, I woke up with like 2 scratches like right here, like on my bicep, and I was like across the front, and I was like, oh my god, like the Babadook visited me at night. But
Ooh,
yeah,
spooky.
I would not recommend that one. So I was disappointed. AJ, you
I've been
got
watching
any others?
Seinfeld. I've been watching Seinfeld over again. To me, the greatest TV show of all time.
It's good, man. It's good. My dad got me
So
hooked on
funny.
it.
You need to watch it, Conlan.
Yeah, I will need to.
You can fly
Um,
through it on Netflix.
I don't even have Netflix, so but my roommate watches it. He loves it. So
It's like time. What's the word I'm looking for? Like timeless.
Yeah,
Like,
timeless.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be so good like 50 years from now.
It's so just like you could see it happening to anyone because it's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
It could literally be a show about us doing right now, making a podcast, and something weird happens.
I wonder how much they did just like on the spot.
I know
There's, like-
George's father, Jerry Stiller, all his scenes are they didn't give him any lines. He just went because he's hilarious.
He's so funny. I think George is my favorite. He's just
George
so
is the best.
selfish. He's so
Just that he
selfish.
lies about everything. His whole life is a lie.
Yeah. No, I saw my dad showed me like a bunch of bloopers recently. And
really?
it was Jerry Stiller and stuff. And
Yeah.
like it was just him just making stuff up like on the top, and like everybody was dying, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So good.
Any other movies or TV shows, Conlan?
I've been watching the X-Files for a few years, so really old like conspiracy theory, supernatural like crime show. I really enjoy it. It's fantastic. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. It's pretty old. It's got like 11 seasons. I think it started in like the 80s, continued through like early 2000s.
Yeah, they made some
Something
newer
like that.
ones.
Yeah. So, but yeah, pretty good. You don't have to like, there's like an overarching plot. So if you watch them all, you like get that out of it, but most of them aren't really connected. So you can just like pop in, it's just some random one and watch it. So they get some really interesting things, like that because it's like all supernatural. So they like pull from a bunch of different legends and stuff like that.
Mm.
And yeah, it's good. So you'll learn a little bit about like different cultural legends, and
Folklore.
yeah, it's definitely interesting.
What was your question for us? Did you already say it?
No, I haven't. I'll wait on that
Oh,
to the end.
Ooh, okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on NHL wise. A couple things stood out to me right off the top of my head was, I don't know if you guys saw this either. Keith Yandel, defenseman for the Philadelphia Flyers, breaks the Ironman record for most games played in a row 965, which is for an NHL player pretty darn impressive.
That's crazy.
Pretty amazing.
That is insane. I mean, how long is that? Like, how long has it been since he hasn't, like 2013, maybe something like that?
How many games was
Yeah.
it?
965 divided by 82. Like 12 seasons.
It's 11.768 because he's in the middle of a season right now. So basically, yeah,
12 years.
almost
12
12.
seasons, wow.
If he makes it all the way this year, it'll be 12 years.
That's insane.
Do you guys know who held it before? Held the record before?
Look it up
I
right
do
now.
not.
Jay Bouwmeester of the Blues had a long one. I remember that.
I think Phil Kessel's up there. I saw a little graphic.
he?
I don't know if it's still
Yeah.
active.
He's still active, yeah. But I know it was Jarvis is his last name because I remember seeing that when Yandel passed it. So his last name's Jarvis. I don't know his first name, but
A couple
Phil
teams that-
Kessel. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say a couple teams that stood out to me. I think I mentioned last week that the Panthers had a 3 or 4 game road trip coming up, and how they were so dominant at home whenever we were making our power rankings list. And I wanted to see them kind of prove it on the road, and they won all 4, and 3 of them were on the road in pretty dominant fashion too. So Panthers are the real deal. The Oilers are a team that has been just falling apart from what they started the season as, and kind of sad to see because guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, you don't want to see them kind of ruin another year of their career. You kind of want to see what they can prove in the postseason. But after a 6-0 loss to the Panthers a few nights ago, they had 3 straight wins now. And the one thing that stood out to me was better goaltending. It has been constantly where Kaapo Koskinen, I think his name is, goaltender for the Oilers. It is constantly like they're giving up 4 or 5 goals a game, and then you're just hoping that Draisaitl and McDavid can just kind of carry the team to 6 goals and win it. And that's not going to be sustainable. And I know Ryan Whitney of the Spit and Chicklets, big Oilers fan, has been just like going off about how messed up his team is and everything. But I think defense and goaltending is big for them. If they can sustain that, they'll be okay. And they also picked up Evander Kane yesterday, so we'll see how he does after his problems he's been going with off the ice.
Did you guys see the press conference with Leon Draisaitl? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Draisaitl,
yeah.
Where the journalist was asking him questions like, what do you think's the problem? And he's been asked that question forever, and it's obviously goaltending, but he's not gonna throw his team under the bus. So he's like, how about you figure out that you're good at doing that? And he's like, why are you so pissy?
I know.
He's
Yeah,
like,
it was bad.
come again?
But,
Little
Yeah.
out of line. Yeah.
but no, back to that Iron Man record. It's Doug Jarvis is 2 at 964, and then Phil Kessel is still active, and he's at 941. So he's 23 off from
Wow.
tying the previous record, but he's 25 games behind Keith Yandel.
I had no idea Phil Kessel was that high. Wow. I actually got to go to the Blues game last night against the Flames, and the Flames have been a team that has been good for a few years now, but have just been, I don't want to call them soft, but they kind of always lack that physical edge to put them over the top. They have stars in Kachuk and Goudreau, but they don't have that physical edge. And right off the start last night, Hannah leaned over to me and said, "Man, they're physical." And I was watching it, and I'm like, they're really physical. And I know they beat us 7-1 a few nights ago. And then the next night they had an off night, and then the next night they played the Blue Jackets, who are not a very good team, but they beat them 6-0. So the Flames are a team that had been, I think, reeling kind of a little bit, and now they're getting hot again. And then last night the Blues finally had their legs under them, because when they beat us, we were on a second night of a back-to-back, and Husso was in net and was unbelievable again. But we looked fantastic last night as we beat them 5-1. 5-1, yeah.
Yeah, they I think that at one point, like last week or 2 weeks ago, they lost like 4 or 5 in a row. But yeah, like you said, they hammered us. Then they crushed the Blue Jackets as well. They've been pretty inconsistent all year. I, I think they're a playoff team. I think they'll be fine, and um, their goaltending has been really, really solid all year.
Markstrom's
So
been great. Yeah.
yeah, which it really isn't surprising at all. He's been a world class goalie for a few years now. So
But the Flames and the Panthers were the two teams that stood out to me. And then I wanted to say, like, McDavid is in that position where he's in like his 8th year, I believe, and he is going to go down as all-time great. But are you going to hold it against them for leaving after this year if they just can't do anything around him?
I hope he does leave, just because I'd like to see him have some success.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people should hold something against him if he goes somewhere else?
Yeah, that's what my question is.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. What do you think?
Me?
I think people
AJ.
will.
No, I don't think you should hold it against him at all. I say it's such a team game. If you're not going to, I mean, he's stuck there 7 years now. If you're not going to build anything around him, then he's got to go.
It's like Mike Trout on the Angels, one of the best players ever playing. Only been to the playoffs once.
I just want to mention this. We're not going to talk about this in this episode, but it is what LeBron did in Cleveland.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he left his city.
So, I mean,
Came back, went to Miami, then went back, and then left Cleveland in shambles for a couple of years.
If you are
Great
a
person.
superstar like that, though, if you are a superstar like that and you're just going to waste his years like McDavid, and they constantly are like, I don't know, you have to do something defensively. You're so top heavy with McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins, and you get like the first pick every year, and you're getting the same style player, like the shifty like superstar player. You need some solid defense, and they just, I don't know, until they do that, they're not going to get anywhere.
So there's I guess two teams that stands out to me. So Washington, the Capitals, they've really been struggling lately. And then the Islanders, who are, I think we talked about last week, where I thought in that like conference they might be the only chance to fight for that last playoff spot. So the Islanders they're 7-3 in their last 10, and they have 8 games in hand on the Capitals. And like I just said, the Capitals are really struggling lately, and they are, 19 points behind. So they're gaining a little bit of ground. If they can keep winning, and the Capitals are really struggling, the Islanders can make a playoff push, and they've just looked better lately. So
They started off so poorly. I think something that wasn't mentioned enough is that, you say you have such a home ice advantage when you get to play at home, and they didn't get to play like the first 10 games at home, I believe, because they were like doing stuff with the arena to get it like fixed. And so that's something that I thought was interesting, is that they started off so poorly, but that had to have played some kind of factor in there.
I think they started with 12 road game on a 12 game 12
Sounds right.
game road streak or whatever, however you say that. Wow, tongue tied. But and then they had COVID issues too. So, and then the other thing that stood out to me is just the Pacific Division absolutely stinks. They're bad. Like every team in that division has just not looked good lately. There's one team that has a winning record in their last 10 games in that division. And
who is that?
The Kings are 6-3-1, and they're in playoff position somehow still. So the Oilers, I mean, as bad as they've been, they still have a chance to make playoffs. And like you said, they've won 3 games in a row. And this year, I think they're now 10-2 against the Pacific Division. And everyone else, they're like 11-17 against. So that division's really weak and really wide open. So
the Ducks and Kings have both kind of surprised me with how well they've played. They're not good, and they're not going to beat anybody in the postseason. But they've surprised me, because I thought the Ducks were more of a bottom feeder, kind of trying to grow. And I have to mention Zegras. Did you guys see his goal last night?
Yeah, the Michigan goal.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah, he's got a couple crazy highlight plays this year
Yeah, a couple goal of the year candidates for sure.
for sure.
For
But
sure.
anything for sure. Anything else NHL wise here?
I think so. I think the Blues play tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and then
Against Winnipeg.
yep. And Winnipeg's been horrible lately, so hopefully we can
Mhm.
pick up an easy win there. Well, not an easy win. None of them are easy, but
And
yeah,
I
hopefully.
think Husso's got to be the guy now, right?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but Husso's been on fire. He's won like 6 starts in a row. He even when Binnington gave up like 7 the other night against the Flames, Husso came in and stopped I think 14 of 14 shots. So he's looked really good.
He's so solid. Like he kind of just sticks to who he is. That's what I saw last night in person too. I was trying to analyze it a little more, seeing him in person. And Binnington makes some unbelievable saves, and kind of lets like the easy ones to get in a couple, every once in a while. And I've just seen with Husso is just rock solid. I mean, just stays. I mean, doesn't slide out of net. I know Jake Allen. I don't know if you remember, he had a huge problem with that. Seems like he was always sliding around. Husso's just very solid.
Yeah, but Benner, I mean, I watched that game that Monday when they got blown out by Calgary.
Yeah.
And there's just like I know there was a long slap shot from like the blue line and Benner just missed it. Like I mean it looks like a great shot, but he's far enough out. He got to save that puck. And normally he's got really good hands. He's got a good glove. So I just don't think he's on his game right now. I don't think he's seeing the puck very well.
He kind of let that easy one in go in against Toronto. That one from the side.
Mm-hmm.
That beat us. That was another one. I think you can't. Everybody's saying just like Husso's the guy. Give up on Benner is just he's going to play a role at some point in the season.
Exactly.
So you just gotta. Goalies are so streaky, as we saw. But I will say the other night I was thinking about it, writing down some notes, and it's given me 2019 vibes, where Jake Allen was the guy, and then Benner came in and took over. And Husso, I don't know. Whoever's hot, you got to play him though.
Yeah.
So
you have to play the hot hand. But now you can't just give up on your goalie that you're paying way too much money. So
yeah. Well, do you guys mind if I do my little segment here?
Yeah, sounds good.
I also have a little trivia section. I have 2 sports ones and 3 non-sports ones, like Zach, but none of them are the same.
All right, dang.
The first
well,
one,
you would have actually gotten them right if you
seriously.
they were the same.
The first one is a question that I've heard like asked a lot. I didn't know if you guys knew, but how many dimples are on a golf ball?
I've heard this before, and it's a lot.
I should know this because I took a materials engineering of sports equipment last semester, and we talked about golf balls all the time. And like
under 1,000.
No, it's under, right?
Yeah,
it's well under. It's like 228.
Zach?
I have a golf ball right here. I'll count. There's a lot on here. 500.
No, it doesn't. It depend on the ball.
I think it does.
Yeah, this is from mini golf.
Okay.
This is just like the normal standard ball.
Just a standard one. Okay.
Yeah.
Titleist
336.
Callaway. How many? Sorry.
336 is the answer there.
Dang. I would have lost if it was Price is Right, because you can't go over.
My second one is in the Olympics. There are 3 medals. There are gold, silver, and bronze. The bronze is made out of bronze. The silver is made out of silver. What is the gold one made out of? I should just say gold, and then that would really mess you guys up.
I'm assuming it's not made out of gold.
It is not made out of gold, no.
Platinum.
Bronze? Copper?
It's actually sterling silver with a gold coating.
Huh. Makes sense. Yeah. It's probably pretty expensive to make a big gold medal.
Yeah, I said platinum, and I'm pretty sure platinum's like the most expensive thing out there. So
diamond.
Yeah.
My non-sports ones I thought were very interesting. One of them I have a fact. I'll say the fact first. And two are trivia questions. My fact is, did you guys know that wood frogs can hold their pee for 8 months?
I can't say I did know that.
No.
Wow, that's
Wood
impressive.
frogs?
Yeah, I read. Let me get
8
it
months.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, I took like a screenshot of it.
Mental concentration.
Yeah, here we go. It says, talk about having to go. Wood frogs in Alaska have been known to hold their urine for up to 8 months, sticking it out through the region's long winters before relieving themselves once temperatures increase. The urine actually helps keep the animal alive while it hibernates, with special microbes in their gut that recycle the urea into nitrogen.
Interesting.
That pee has to be one of the most like greatest peas of all time. That'd feel so good.
Yeah, it's a long one.
It's got to smell just
Tom
so
Hanks.
bad too.
Tom
Just
Hanks
so
pee from a
foul.
league of their own.
One of my last two here. How fast was the first person convicted of speeding going?
30 miles an hour.
$17 miles per hour.
It was 8 miles per hour. And that was 4 times the limit.
So the limit was 2.
It was 2. So Walter Arnold of the English village of Paddock Wood, Kentucky, on January 28th, 1896, sorry. Arnold was spotting going 4 times the speed limit in his 19th century Benz. But since the speed limit at the same time was just 2 miles per hour, that meant he was not going too fast by today's standards. The constable had to chase him down on his bicycle.
Constable.
Yeah, issuing a ticket, and earned Arnold the speedy distinction. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought 8 was crazy, and then I saw it was 4
hilarious.
times over, and I thought that was wild.
That's kind of cool.
And my
Speedster.
last one, crazy Arnold. The last one I have is on a lowercase j and on a lowercase I. What is that dot called? There's a name for the dot on the lowercase j and the lowercase I.
I've definitely heard this before, but
Yeah,
I
I
have
have to. I just can't
no
remember.
idea what the answer
Does it
is.
start with an I?
No, it starts with a T.
Dang.
No, you're thinking of the shoelace thing, Zach, and inklet, right? Or no, it's
yeah,
not.
I don't
So
know.
what's it? What is that?
Starts with a T.
It's not. Is it a tilde? That's like
No.
the little squiggle thing, right?
Yeah.
Want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a tittle. I thought it was. I thought it was interesting, man.
Like
Tittle.
Something I will never forget. It is called a tittle.
So you
But
cross
the-
your T's and dot your tittles. Oh man.
Yeah, those are my 5.
Good work.
Appreciate it. Do you guys want to move on MLB wise? There's one major thing we got to discuss here.
Yeah.
What is it?
You got it, because I think you're a little more fired up than both of us are, or maybe not. I don't know what Conlan thinks about it, but
Zach,
Yeah.
you fired up? Go
I
ahead.
feel like
Not
you're a little
super
fired
fired
right?
up.
No, seemed
No.
like
A
whenever we're
little.
talking about it, yeah.
I think
Hall of
Zach's fired
Fame.
up for different reasons than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, Baseball Hall of Fame selection. David Ortiz got in on his first time on the ballot. I have it right here. 77.9% of the votes. Barry Bonds was second with 66. Roger Clemens 65.2. Then Scott Rowland 63.2. And I think Scott Rowland should be in. To me, like David Ortiz had a great career, but I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like I think he should get in because his stats are really good, but I don't know if first ballot as a designated hitter, like you're just playing half the thing. Like he has incredible offensive stats. He had 2,472 hits, 541 home runs, 286 batting average, 380 on base, and 552 slugging. And he only had 55 WAR, 55.3 WAR, which is a big like thing they use now.
I would say that he would be up first ballot. The one thing that stood out to me, well, he is a 10-time All-Star, and I saw that he finished top 10 in the MVP 7 times, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But the one thing that stood out to me is, how do you guys feel about, like, Barry Bonds can't get in now? He's off the ballot.
He can get back in. There's like another committee.
Okay.
So that's what I was more fired up about. I mean, obviously, he, like everyone knows, he used PEDs, he used steroids, he cheated. But throughout the MLB's history, there has always been some kind of performance enhancing substance, drug. Like, everyone's doing something to get an edge. I mean, in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
I mean, there's everything. Like, now there's sticky substances, there's things like that. I mean, people are still doing PEDs, but like the early 1900s, people are shooting themselves up with like some kind of testosterone.
Meth.
Like, well, like, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, the nicotine, like, yeah, like I read this thing where it was like, no, it's monkey testosterone. Like, the early 1900s, they're using monkey testosterone, and then they were smoking crack. Like, there's always something, and so you can't have
old times. They'd be like smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, like in between innings, or like in basketball at halftime.
Yeah,
So
Babe Ruth had a cig in his mouth while he was at home plate.
So you can't leave off like the MLB's home run leader and Roger Clemens because of PEDs, because it's always been a problem in the MLB.
Yeah.
What do you think about, because David Ortiz was on like a list, and then they have him in, they got him in first ballot. I thought that was kind of a little interesting.
But yes, and I think that it's a little bit of a popularity thing.
For sure.
I mean, it definitely is, but he was never tested positive for PEDs.
Yeah. Was Barry Bonds tested positive, or was he just like ratted out by Jose Canseco?
You could
don't know.
physically tell.
Right, you're right. I was gonna say, have you seen
Literally
a before and after picture?
His head got bigger.
Yeah, his head like doubled in
It's
size.
gigantic.
Which I never understood, or what I never understood with Barry, is that he was probably on a pretty close to Hall of Fame career before that.
He would have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would steal bases at a high clip. I know.
If you look at his baseball reference sheet, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But to me, I think Scott Rowland should be in the Hall of Fame. I was looking at his
he will be.
Yeah, he will be. I thought I just wanted to get in. Just I don't have to worry that he won't get in.
His percentage went higher this year.
Yeah,
it did. 60s,
he should get in. He deserves it. Like, I wrote down the stats. He had 2,077 hits, 316 home runs, 281 batting average, 364 on base, 490 slugging percentage, 7-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glove. So he's one of the best defenders, third base defenders of probably all time. Rookie of the Year, and this is a stat I found on Baseball Reference that I thought was kind of interesting. He has a 96.8% fielding percentage, which is 21st all time for third base for their career. Which I was like, that's kind of crazy for the amount of people that play in the MLB. And then also his WAR is 70.1. And a fun little thing I think he should get in is, so he's 70.1 WAR. Now Derek Jeter, who was unanimous, voted in, correct?
Yeah.
His WAR is 71.3.
I think that didn't vote for him.
One person did.
That? Yeah, I think that was like a big thing. He had one guy, but
his WAR is 71.3. And I looked at this before, and it's like way less games too. But I'm like, Scott Rowland will get in hopefully next year or the year after that.
That actually leads me to a topic I want to get into next week, maybe, about Derek Jeter being
Overrated.
Very
Overrated, yeah.
Overrated. Yeah. And I
Yes.
think that's something we all agree on. So I kinda
Like,
wanna
I
talk
think he
about that
deserves
next.
to be in the Hall of Fame for his longevity, but like he gets way better, more praise than
Not deserved.
is there anyone
Um,
else that you think who's on the list that will get in or deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? I can list some of the people that were on the ballot.
Yeah.
The one guy that stands off the top of my head is, what do you guys think about Pete Rose? It's tricky.
I don't know. Betting on the games.
Uh-huh.
At first, it was just he betted when he was a manager, so I thought he could get in as a player. But I think they found out that he's also betting when he was a player too.
Yeah, I believe he was.
Was he betting on his own games? That was the deal,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Most hits
I don't
ever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Can you name off a couple, Zach?
Yeah. So it was Barry Bonds Clemens, then Scott Rowland had 63.2, then Kurt Schilling's 58.6. Kurt Schilling's kind of a nut. That was his final
Mhm.
year. Todd Helton, he had 52%. Billy Wagner, 51. Andrew Jones, 41.1. Gary Sheffield, 40.6. Alex Rodriguez, 34.3. He will never get in. Jeff Kent, Manny Ramirez, Omar Vizquel.
Yeah.
And then the other people are less than 10%. Like Jimmy Rollins is on there, Torrey Hunter, Mark Burley, Bobby Abreu, Andy Pettit, Sammy Sosa is his final year on the ballot.
Yeah, none of those stand out to me besides maybe A-Rod, just pure talent-wise, if we're going to talk about
A-Rod won't get it. He got
Yeah.
he got like the most suspensions for PEDs ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't get it.
But like
There wasn't
Schilling or Helton, those guys don't really stand out to me.
I looked at Helton's stats. He has pretty good stats. Like he
Mhm.
could sneak in.
maybe, yeah.
Maybe
but
if there's not a lot of other good people on the ballot.
I
But
remember
there
him
was
from our
that one year a
childhood.
couple of years ago when no one got in when they voted.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess Poppy was the only one this year.
Yeah. They had others from older committees.
Hmm.
Like some players are voted in that have passed away already that played a long time ago, and broadcasters and journalists and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, going back to Pete Rose, just doing a little research here. He is engaged to a actress, I believe, that is half his age. So good for him.
I went to a what was that? Gateway Grizzlies, like an independent league baseball game
Yeah.
a couple years ago. And they said it was
I
Pete
went with
Rose.
you one to a Gateway Grizzlies game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It wasn't
That's
that
when
one.
you wanted to that's when you were thinking about playing
I
the
know, that's when I
Frontier
was-
League there.
Yeah, that's when I was into baseball, bro. But it was a Pete Rose night. I thought it was going to be like a bobblehead or something. He was there, like trying to sell autographs. Like
He was
the
live
money.
betting the game.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know. It just seemed so weird. Like it seemed like the low of low for a superstar like that. to
No,
kinda
I
just
think
show up.
Pete Rose should open up his own sports book.
That would
would
be
just
so funny.
Make
Well,
so much
he's
sense.
like 80, so I don't know.
He's 80?
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
No way.
I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw. Yeah, he's
Also,
80.
fun fact about Fun fact about the Gateway Grizzlies. They have at one of their concession stands, they have a burger where the buns are 2 Krispy Kreme donuts. It was on Man vs. Food.
That does not sound good.
Did we not get that night?
No, we did not.
Why did we not? Is the
I figured,
question.
well, I was looking for it, but then I figured out we went to the wrong concession stand. It was the one all the way out in right field.
Because that sounds amazing, actually, to me.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else on MLB?
I don't have anything. I was going to move on to college basketball before we wrap it up here.
I think
Yeah.
the union and players are meeting. Hopefully they get an agreement. Also,
Yeah,
St. Louis
we need
Cardinals
to-
tickets are live. You can purchase your single game tickets. That's all that is. That's kind of
Right
exciting.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, we can move on now. Sorry.
I was telling Hannah last night at the Blues game how it feels like forever since Cardinals baseball. Since A-Ray gave up that bomb to Chris Taylor. Seems like forever. But college basketball wise, a couple games stood out to me just right off the bat here. Mizzou, who are just kind of in shambles as a team. They're just not a good season. They lost to Auburn, number 1 in the country, by 1. Came down to the last possession. We kind of just fumbled. Couldn't get a defensive rebound to finish it. Another game that stood out to me was Duke, and I know Conlan might want to talk a little bit about this. They just snuck by Clemson. Do you want to touch on that a little bit now?
Conlan or me?
Zach,
Oh,
yeah.
Did I say Conlan? I meant Zach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. We played Duke this weekend too. I
You
think
going?
Sunday. I don't know if I'll get tickets. It's lottery. So
Oh, ours is first come first serve, so you just got to get there really late.
yeah, we do not do that.
But yeah, dude, Clemson played really good. The one big thing everyone's talking about is Duke had 13 free throws. We only had 1. The Duke bias.
Yeah, big
But
time.
we could have easily tied this game, made it to overtime, and could have won it. They went on a small little run at the end where they got 2 buckets at the end. Then we came down and tried to jack up a 3, kind of bounced around, shot another 3, and then we put it back up. So we were down 2 with like 1.7 seconds left, which you really can't do anything. But it's just exciting to I don't think we'll get to the tournament. We're gonna have to go on a run, but it's just exciting to play Duke pretty tight, and I'm pretty excited for whenever we play them here at home because it's gonna be rocking whenever they come to town.
Mm-hmm.
And we have sophomore PJ Hall. He didn't play that much last year, and I think he should be in contention for, like, I don't know if they have a most improved player award. Do they have that?
I thought so.
I don't know if he'll get it, but last year he barely played. He averaged only like 3 points a game, like a couple rebounds. Now he's leading our team in scoring at 14. Gets a bunch of rebounds, averages like 1 block a game. He's really good.
Well, Conlan, Notre Dame's been playing pretty well, no?
Yeah, they've been they've been playing pretty well. They started off pretty tough this season.
I
Yeah,
remember you saying you didn't have high expectations for him, really.
no, I really didn't. Just because the last few years have been really disappointing. But they have won 4 in a row at least. That I can remember. But I think they're sitting at like 2nd or 3rd in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
But they do play Virginia and Duke this weekend, so we'll see how that goes.
A lot of the ACC, there's not a lot of standout teams besides Duke, and North Carolina is not as good, but they're probably better than most of the people. But it's a lot of teams that are right around 500, either like a game above or 1 below, that we just keep beating each other.
Yeah. But we beat Kentucky earlier in the year. I mean, we lost some pretty bad games early, but since then we've looked pretty good.
Kentucky's got a big one tomorrow against Kansas. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. And speaking of Kansas, the Big 12 continues to not disappoint. That I didn't get to watch it. I got to watch highlights of it, but Kansas is beating Tech in double overtime at the beginning of the week. Oche, I think it's Oche. I don't know if it's Shea or Che Agbaji for Kansas had 37 that night, and he's just been on a tear lately. Kansas is scary. I'm not a fan of Kansas, so my friend Nate, who's out there listening to this, he's a big Kansas fan, and but they beat Tech, and Tech finally. I know we mentioned last week how they didn't get like the respect after just one. You know, they beat Kansas and Baylor, and then lost to K-State. Well, they got up to number 13 in the country, but double overtime loss at it was at Kansas, so they competed well.
Very well.
Very.
Yeah.
And the one other game that stood out to me was UCLA, who's number 7 in the country. They beat Arizona. in at UCLA, 75-59. Kind of handled them pretty easily. I don't know much about Arizona. From the couple games I've seen of them, I thought they were a little maybe overrated. And UCLA hasn't played probably as well as they expected to start the year.
Yeah.
I think they were top 3 even to start the season.
Yeah. Didn't they have a long stretch where they didn't play any games because of just COVID, either who they're playing or them?
Yeah, they finally got fans back too. I know they had been playing without fans. Did Oregon beat? Do you remember that game a few weeks ago? Did Oregon beat them at UCLA? I don't have it with me.
Maybe.
It was really close. I think Oregon beat them.
Yeah, because that's what we were talking about, right?
All the upsets last week. I think so.
Yeah. Because I think Oregon beat USC then like right after that too.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a game we talked about. Oregon beat UCLA at UCLA, and I think UCLA was like 4 at the time.
Yeah, that's right. I watched a little bit of that game. You guys mentioned your schools. SLU, closest thing to me. They're 13-6 now. They've had some bumpy games where they should have won. They lost to Massachusetts a few nights ago that they should have won. They gave up, I think, 91 to Massachusetts. A bad loss, but since that loss, they've won their last 2, and these last 2 games, Gibson Jimerson had 31 points in one game and 28 in the other. So he's coming along. And then the sophomore Yuri Collins, I've told you guys about him, is just a tremendous passer. He's like the one guy from SLU where I think if he stays till he's a senior, he's kind of like a Monte Morris, where in college, you remember how he took care of the ball so well?
Yeah.
He's kind of, I think he could play that kind of role in the NBA. Come off the bench and kind of just give minutes as a point guard and take care of the ball.
Does Fred Thatch play a lot?
Not that much. He comes off the bench, but he's
Me and Conlan
really
played
good.
him in like a shootout in the summer.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember where it was at. Maybe Jeff City or something. We got destroyed by him because he played at Sykeston.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go to that actually.
Oh, you didn't go to that one?
Nope.
He's very good defensively. Very good defensively. So
I have one game that kind of stands out.
Yeah,
it's a local team, Missouri State. Go Bears! They beat 22 Loyola. They lost their game after whoever they played after that game. They lost to, unfortunately, but they're 15-7. They could make a run in the Arch Madness and win it and possibly get in if they play well. But in that Loyola game, I know one of their players, Isaiah Mosley, he dropped 40
or 41. Yeah,
40 points. I went to a Missouri State game earlier this year, and he was struggling to start the year, and then he came on and started hitting shots. But his play style is like they give him the ball. Whenever he gets the ball, he doesn't really pass it. He always gets it, does some kind of move like a step back and jacks it up. So he gets a lot of shot attempts.
Is he a transfer?
I don't know. He's been there for the last couple of years.
Oh,
him and like Gage Prim. They're both. Gage Prim's a big guy inside.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah, well, I mean, if my team SLU and then you guys got Notre Dame and Clemson, what are you guys feeling with March Madness a month away?
There's no way we're getting in.
Got to win the conference tourney.
Or like win 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
SLU's got a chance, a slight chance. They're 13-6, but they're probably gonna have to win their conference tournament as well.
It's hard when you're in a mid-major school. You have to only get like 2 losses to be an automatic bid.
I know.
Or not an automatic, an at-large bid, but automatic.
Yeah.
I worded that really weird, but you guys know what I mean.
Any other games that stood out to you guys?
No, just excited for tomorrow to watch some games.
I know there's some good ones tomorrow. I guess that pretty much wraps it up. I did want to touch on the Australian Open just for a split, like 2 seconds here.
All our tennis fans out there.
I know all of them. I mentioned last week that I've been following Felix Auger-Aliassime for Team Canada, and he was in the quarterfinal against Daniil Medvedev, and it was at 2:30 in the morning. And so I took a nap midway through the day, and I stayed up thinking, honestly, that Medvedev was going to just run through him because Medvedev is number 2 in the world, and has won all 3 matches against Felix. But Felix won the first 2 sets, and I thought, wow, he's got a chance at this thing. And then you gave him a sliver of hope, and Medvedev just ran with it. And I was up from 2:30 to 7:30 watching it. And I went to breakfast right after that. So then I slept for a while. But yeah, it was rough watching all of that, getting my hopes up after those 2 sets, and then having them kind of blow it there.
Is your sleep schedule all messed up now?
It was. I've got it fixed now, but it was thrown off there for a little while.
I could not do that. Like I can't watch any sporting event for more than like 3 hours.
Mhm.
I'm like pounding my head against the wall.
And watching tennis for that long?
I know.
Oh.
The crowd was great. It was pretty energetic, and
They actually have fans in Australia.
yeah, it was pretty packed. They actually yesterday a guy named Tsitsipas is his last name, faced off against Nadal. I mean, I'm sure you guys know Rafa Nadal.
Who's that?
And,
Kidding.
Yeah. And Nadal won, and Medvedev won his as well. So, yeah. So now it's Nadal and Medvedev in the final. So, Medvedev is, Nadal is kind of like the Ovechkin, LeBron type, where they're old but they're still getting it done type of thing. Get over it, Zach. But yeah, it's impressive. But that's pretty much all I had to say. Is they have like 4 major tournaments a year, and that was one of them. They have the French Open, the Australian Open, which is that, the Wimbledon tournament in England, and then they have the U.S. Open. But anything else you guys want to talk on? What was your question, Conlan? Popped back in my head.
So I thought about this earlier in the week. And I when I initially thought of it, I thought it was going to be better than it actually will likely be. But I was going to ask you guys just off the spot, like answer like that. What like the best date you've ever been on was? And initially I was like, I might get these guys in trouble, like if it's not with your current like significant other. But then I was thinking about it, and you two have been like with your significant other long enough that it's well, maybe not.
Colin, what's your best date?
It's definitely well, I mean, I'll answer too if you guys want me to. But yeah, I would imagine it's with your significant other now, so I figured it wouldn't get you guys in trouble and we'd be okay.
It's with my fiance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go right ahead, Zach.
Oh, like the whole like specific date and everything. Oh wow. Here you go. I gotta think
He's
of
on
like
the spot.
we've had so many good ones.
There it is. Buy some time.
You want me to go real quick?
Yeah, you can go real quick.
I don't know about the best one, but the one that stood out to me was the first one, because I was 15. I didn't know what I was doing. So we went to the movies.
How many years have you guys been together?
Six, right?
6, yeah.
Well, like just recently it was 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put my arm around her. We laughed about this to this day. And
Was this at the movies?
Yes. Do you know about this?
No, wait, no. I think this is a different one where this was different. Your first
Okay.
kiss. That one was funny.
No, it was the same one. That's the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had my arm around her, and dude, my arm is like dying. It's like halfway through the movie, and I didn't move my arm because I didn't want to like act like I didn't want to pull my arm away and act like I wasn't affectionate. I don't know. I was so young, guys. Come on. But I put my arm around it, and my arm's like dying. And I remember her saying, "Is your arm?" Because she could like feel me twitching a little bit because it was like
Power
dead.
through. This is before
I
HA
powered
lifted.
Dude, yeah. But no, I had my arm around her. That was like the one thing. I just kept it there the whole time. Also, I went there, and our principal, of course, is sitting in the seat right in front of us. Like, how does that even like work?
So you're 15 too. How'd you get there?
Oh yeah, Dad dropped me off. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I know
Killing
that's another.
it.
I hate like people that say like they're dating when they're 13. You can't drive. I feel like you should have to drive first.
You did drive. You just had your permit, and your dad was right next
I
to you.
know. I think I
Oh,
did drive
man.
actually. My dad was like, "All right."
Switch
But-
seats now.
Yeah. But no, when I kissed her, I planned on it. Going into it, this is like, I think I wanted to say like a month into dating, something like that. And I walked out and I told the guys I was with, the buddies I was with, I told them I'm gonna kiss. I'm gonna try to kiss Hannah tonight. And so we walk out of the movies and we're like going down the steps, and I turned to kiss her, and I look up and Sam, my friend, is like making direct. My eyes were open, like barely, and he's making direct eye contact with me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I just ruined it. Like I can't get that out of my head forever.
God.
But
I haven't heard that story before.
yeah,
Yeah, you
Oh
told me
my
that a couple
God.
times.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
that's the one that stands out to me is like the best.
No, I'd
Oh,
say
man.
mine was last Valentine's Day. Kaylee came down here. One of my favorites. And so we had like it was on a Valentine's Day was on a Sunday, and it was on President's Day weekend. So Kaylee had off Monday. I don't get that off, so it's always a good weekend for her to come down. And we just had, as I like to call it, the day of Kaylee, where we had to do whatever Kaylee wants. And so it was pretty fun. We just hung out all day. We went ate at a really nice restaurant in Greenville. We like ate a bunch, had a cookie skillet. It was awesome. And then we did this fun little thing during the day. Kaylee came up with it where we went to Target and we had a $30 spending limit, and we had like 30 minutes, and we had to just go buy like each other a gift with $30. Kaylee got me, trying to remember, she got me a candle. I know she got me a candle. I feel like she got me like food too, because I like ate it all. Like a lot
Looking
of
around to
candy.
see if you can find it.
Yeah, I was trying to remember.
It's
trying to
right
remember what I
here on
got
my
her.
desk, right next to me, Kaylee.
Yeah. It's her. It's this picture of her. I have a lot of pictures of her. Yeah, it's this picture. Trying to remember what I got her. I got her like a copper mug. That was like you can have a Moscow Mule in. And I got her a candle. I got her a candle because I couldn't think of anything. I was just walking the store like with my head chopped off, and she forgot to take it home with her. So whenever I went down there, I flew down there later that semester. I put the copper cup and the candle in my suitcase to go down there, and of course, when I'm going through security, it goes through like the thing when you get your bag, check in, it goes to the machine. Of course, it like slides over to the one where they have to check it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like positive it's because of the candle, but she like zipped it open and was like, oh, here you go. And then I was on my way.
Yeah. I will really quickly before you answer yours, Conlan. I would say the best one I had though, Hannah's like loves sunflowers. So I took her to the sunflower patch. Got a lot of like photos there and stuff like that. I know whenever she listens to this, she would kill me if my best date was that first one. So I have to like help myself out a little bit there. But go right ahead, Conlan. What was yours?
Oh man, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up. AJ, I was dying laughing when you were telling your story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Direct eye
But-
contact.
So I thought about this because I like had a first date this week and it went really well.
Ooh.
But shut up. God, shouldn't have said that. But no, best one was also a first one. It was in college, but it was like when I was still home. And so I think Zach, you might know this story, but it was first date and we just like actually I'll tell I've part of a story to tell you guys offline as well. But just remind me after. But so yeah, we we went stargazing, and so I like really love stargazing, and so we go out, and my grandma's got this like lake and got a big pontoon, so we just took the pontoon out in the middle of the lake and just stargazed, and ended up like swimming as well, and it was just like had like snacks like M&Ms, like cherries, I don't remember, but yeah, it was just like a really good time. It was very
Chocolate covered strawberries, putting it in her mouth.
no, it was nothing like that. But no, it was very romantic, and it was yeah, it was a really good time. So that was mine. And also the biggest thing about that was there was like a storm coming in. So we watched the storm come in, and we're hanging out in the middle of the lake, and it's like winds picking up, like there's a storm coming in, and then
Lightning
there's like
striking them.
yeah, there's like
Mhm.
thunder and lightning, and it was like really cool because like I mean we're all from the Midwest, we love storms, love watching them. So we're watching the stars come in, and then we're also like, we should probably like kind of leave at some point. And so we
And
eventually
you
were
drop
like,
the oar in the water.
right, no, we eventually were like, yeah, we're gonna leave because probably would rather not die out here on the first date. But no, it was good. A little bit of danger involved, so always a
Yeah.
good time. Yeah. So
Also in the Valentine's Day that I shared, we tried to make chocolate covered strawberries, and we tried to make them, and they did not look pretty. Like we mixed the chocolate, we were making a big mess. We were trying to like, you boil like water, and then you put a pot with chocolate like in the water to get the warm so it melts. I don't know if that's really like what we were supposed to do. We really didn't know. Like they did not look pretty at all, but they did taste good, so that's all that matters.
Well, yeah, I like the answers. I like the question. That was good. 'Cause I didn't know that about either of you.
I wouldn't have like I thought about like not asking that because it's like totally putting you guys on the spot. But also when I like thought of that question, I immediately knew my answer. So I was like, I feel like there is one that like really stands out.
And we
Like,
took forever to answer ours.
I'm really
Yeah.
bad at
Well-
answering questions because then I think of other stuff later. Like I feel like I always like
Yeah.
if anyone asks
I
me a
know
question, I always have to
exactly
like
what you mean.
sit, and then
I-
like probably like 30 minutes from now, I'll think of something way better than what I
Exactly.
said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys both gave the wrong answer. Zach, you were supposed to be like any date with Kaylee is the best ever, and AJ, you're supposed to
Well,
be like
it
any
is.
date with Hannah is the best ever. So
Oh man. Well, anything else you guys want to touch on? This episode was
don't
kind of
think
longer.
so.
I think it was longer than the others.
yeah, hour and 40. So yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cut it off.
people won't even get to that last question. They'll just
Yeah,
stop
good.
listening.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, we'll be back at it next week. We're still gonna try to release one at some point during the middle of the week.
You said that
We're-
the last two.
I
but
know,
We will
exactly.
at some point do it.
We just haven't gotten to it yet, but yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody because I think our numbers went up from our third one compared to our second one, and our first one was a mess, and I think that has the most right now. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for listening. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. The numbers are keep going higher and higher. So we hope to, and we're gonna, like we've said multiple weeks now, we're gonna keep getting better at it. And I don't know if we've mentioned yet to everybody about getting interviews going. I know it's in our like bio or our description, but we're gonna get interviews going with former athletes, and I think that'll be kind of interesting for people to hear. But
Yeah, and again, we like don't know who actually listens unless you like say something to us. So if you have any feedback, if you have any like advice, any ideas for segments, any like questions you want to ask us, literally anything, like just DM us on Instagram, like one of us three individually, or that our actual podcast account. Like either one works. But yeah, just let us know your thoughts.
Help us help you.
Yeah, bingo. There it is.
I really like the last thing I'll say here to finish up is I like what we've started doing with putting description, like in our description, what the time frames are, because like I just want to let everybody know, like you don't have to listen all the way through it. Like there's a certain spots, like if you like NHL, just go watch the NHL, or if you want to hear about our first dates, then go listen to our first dates. But I think that should help viewers get more involved instead of like having to sit through an hour and 40 minutes. You can kind of enjoy, whatever part you're more interested in.
Yep. And we also at some point we'll start clipping these. If we got like any good stories, good something we want to share like real quick, we'll like take a minute clip and throw it on Twitter or something like that. But that's a little bit down the line, but that's the goal.
And you mentioned going live too down the line somewhere.
Yeah, so we talked about going live for like watching the Blues games or something like that. Because I sent these guys a video the other day. I just get so like worked up during these games. It's so funny. And I'm sure AJ, you're the same way. So yeah, we talked about video, like our live reactions during the games as well. Throwing them out there.
Well, I appreciate everybody for listening, and I guess we'll see you next Friday.
Yep. See you guys. Thanks.
See you guys.